All right, folks, I'm Bryce Holdaway. He is Ben Kingsley. We are the hosts of The Property Couch, and today we have got a very special announcement to make, so you should stick around for this because, Ben, it is going to be easy for people now to get some insights into a very, very important piece of information that every household needs to know.
It is, Bryce. As part of our 300th show celebration, we have timed the release. And I'll tell you what, it has been touch and go, right? So we are about to do a live demo here, and this could go anywhere. This could not work. It could crash. It could do anything. So
you got Stig nervous right now, don't you? You're in control. You're at mission control. She's normally in the studio with you, but right now she's not.
Correct, because the crusade that we're on is about teaching people how to manage their money, which means organising it, getting in control of it, and then basically putting it to work. So we've got another brand new tool that we've added to the My Wealth portal, and that brand new tool that you can work out how long your money is going to last you in the event that you lose income is called MoneySTRETCH, Bryce. MoneySTRETCH. Welcome.
MoneySTRETCH.
Welcome to MoneySTRETCH. How can we stretch that money? So we're going to do a live demo here right now.
So, Ben, we've got Money Smarts, which shows you how to manage your money in less than 10 minutes a month. We show Money Fit so that you can actually get some comparison against your peers, Ben. How am I going? Looking over the fence with my peers in the state, in the country, in the same profession. And now MoneySTRETCH. So set it up for us, Ben. You just sort of gave us a little hint there, but why should people care what MoneySTRETCH is?
Well, there's a couple of reasons why, Bryce. So I'm going into it right now. So hopefully everyone can see. Can we all see that?
Yep.
Beautiful. Here we are. Okay, right. So as you're saying, we've got Money Smarts, Money Fit, and MoneySTRETCH. So MoneySTRETCH, why is it important, Bryce? Because as you can see from census data, the average household only had $28,000 in savings, right? And now that money can evaporate certainly during uncertain times where we may have higher unemployment and the like. So the reason why we've set this up is because so many people need to be aware in terms of how long their money will last them, so that they can continue to keep servicing and paying their bills. And some of the different ways in which you can organise that money to allow it to stretch out longer for you. So that then ultimately builds confidence around how you're going with your money, Bryce.
So, Ben, so the idea is in times like this, it's not just people who actually are really feeling the pinch, because clearly they need to know how far their money stretches, but it's folks who may be able to avoid a decision that's not in their best interest, i.e. pulling money out of super, when if you use a tool like what you're about to showcase, you might find that you actually don't need to do that because that'll have a compounding impact on your future. This tool might actually help you go, okay, I think I'm okay. I think I can push through this.
And I'll tell you the ones who are going to really love it. People with lots of mortgages. So if you've got an investment property and an owner-occupied home and you feel like you've got a lot of debt, this again breeds confidence in knowing, oh, okay, that's fine. If I keep servicing my debt, I'm going to be okay. So here we go, live demo. Anything could happen.
Anything could happen.
Could crash in front of me, but let's just give it a go, right?
Now, Ben, while you're doing that, I'm just going to shout out to those folks listening to this to leave some comments in the chat box below, Ben. So we want to know a couple of things. Do you want to know what your MoneySTRETCH is? How impactful could that be? Or any other question that you might have? We're happy to answer those.
Beautiful. So effectively, the My Wealth portal, which is the home of Money Smarts, Money Fit, and MoneySTRETCH, has all of this live data. Now, this live data lives over here under, things like assets and expenses in terms of bills and spending. So I could click here and I could go through all that. Now, those people who are using the My Wealth portal, they know that they've got all their live data over there. But if you're new to checking out our free portal for all of our friends and members and our community, this is exactly what it looks like. Now, what you do, Bryce, there's 2 easy steps. It says step number 1, establish your baseline scenario by importing your live data. So I click on this button. I've just brought all of that data across. It says successfully imported your data. Step 2, you can now play around. So this is what we refer to as the sandpit, Bryce. So we've got all of this information here, and I'll go slow in terms of scrolling down, but you can see all this information, and now I'm going to explain it to everyone. It's so simple and easy to use.
All right.
The first line that we see here, Bryce, is what's referred to if we just had essential spending. And I'm going to explain that to people in a moment. The other one is what we call our baseline. So our baseline for this household is if they continue to keep spending at the same level, this is the sort of surplus that's coming into the household, because obviously the money is growing from this level of $5,000 and it's growing as we bring that money in. But what happens if our income changes? So let's have a look at this, and I'll see if I can sort of get this lined up so we can see any changes happening up here. So what happens if, say, one of our household was to lose, they went down to only a 3-day week. So effectively they're 0.6. So you can start to see now, if they continue to keep spending at the current levels, then you can see how that means, guess what? They're still in surplus. So there's still a level of income that's enough that they don't have to worry about running out of money. But what if the second member of the household, what if their income went down as well? All of a sudden, now they only have 7 months if they want to continue to keep spending. And now what happens here is this adjusts to say, okay, the result of this scenario is this, that if you keep spending at the current levels that you're spending at, your money would run out inside 7 months. Now, we also know, Bryce, that we talk about essential and discretionary spending.
We do.
So because we've got the aggregate total of all of our bill payments and all of our monthly spending, that was the money out. But there's also a discretionary element of that as well. So we can see, I'm just going to click on this button here, and what I've done is I've just opened up all of that information. So we've bought effectively a copy of our live data into this sandpit. And you can see that there's a couple of things that are discretionary in when it comes to bill payments. And then the second column, so I'm now opening up the spending area, there's also even more potential discretionary spending. And especially down here, holidays and potentially things like donations and those subs might be considered discretionary. Now, that means if we go back up to the chart, if we were just to cut our spending back to essential spending only, we're still clear. We're still okay. So we don't have to stop our program of what we're potentially doing. In fact, we're still growing money inside our budget, inside our family household money management system. So that's where you then start to get to play around with it. You can sort of say, well, what if both of us, what if one of us loses our job completely? Well, obviously there's a lot of commitment going on. And then because we only had a $5,000 buffer for this household, you can see that it runs out really quickly. And that's effectively how you can sort of say, okay, if my income drops to here, or you could even use this tool to sort of say, well, I'm considering a new job that could pay me, $60,000 or whatever. So this number here, just so you know, Bryce, that $49,005 seems like an odd number, but the reality of that is that's $60,000 gross. So we've already taken the tax out, so we only are looking at that household income after tax. So you can now just start playing around in the sandpit. So you can do things like, okay, well, what if I didn't want to spend on that furniture, and so all of a sudden now I take that figure down to 0, I hit save, and I get confirmation that it has saved, and that would improve, my current position in terms of where I was going to go. So coming back to, if this couple was doing 0.6 for one household and I just got to get that right. Oh, it's hard. Just getting that down. No, this is going to be near impossible. I'll keep it at 61.
Well, why don't you just manually enter it, Ben?
Oh, wow. See, Bryce, I knew you'd ask me that, but unfortunately, we've just got the slider. That could be an enhancement for the very next version in terms of, so that's why I haven't got it done, because minimum viable product, Bryce says, there we go. We've got a little idea.
Yeah.
First idea. I like it. And of course, if we've got other available funds, if we liquidated some shares and those types of things, obviously that would move up in terms of how much money we would have. But, the same sort of thing, the discretionary is looking good, but let's also go down here and say, okay, well, we're not going on holidays overseas this year, so we're only going to spend $5,000 on Australian holidays, because that's going to be our thing, everyone, as soon as we're out of lockdown. And I know all of those great people in Sydney and Queensland, WA, they're holidaying beautifully. But for us here in Melbourne, we can't go on those holidays. What's a holiday?
Is a holiday? Is that something we should know about?
And then you can see just how much that changed in terms of stretching that out. And you can see, again, we've got the graphical presentation of it, but we also say here, based on the current spending scenario, you have 13 months available. If you were to cut back on spending, you'd have greater than 36 months of cash flow. Now, what does that mean?
Can I just jump in there a couple of, because you are flying along here beautifully. So a couple of things. Someone wants to know where your party streamer is. There's no party without Ben with his, let me just quote unquote, where's the whistle? There it is.
There it is.
That's for you, Joel. So we appreciate that.
That's for the 30th, 300th.
And for those folks who've just joined us, Ben, who haven't been with us from the beginning, just the summary is very simple. We are showcasing a very, very important function that is available to anyone to use for free, and it's called MoneySTRETCH, which helps people. You've just showcased it beautifully, Ben. They can, just to not put too small a point on it, what you've just done is saved hours and hours and hours of work, not to mention the anxiety that comes from putting that work in together if this is affecting people, whereas you're just showing a tool that allows people to play with some levers, as you're showcasing again now, as Iris might flick back to the screen shortly, but you're showcasing some levers that allow people to work out how long their money will last, Ben. So I know you were on a roll then, but I just know that there was a few people who joined us a little bit after you started, so it's good to get
brilliant, because obviously I can only see the screen that I'm playing in, so thank you for pausing there.
Vivian has said this, love Ben's passion. You guys are amazing. You've got me over the line to restart using the portal, Ben.
Yes.
So I thought that would make your day.
That's good. Well, let's hope we can get thousands more, because that is our crusade. We want people to look at their cash flows, look at their situation, control their money, get confidence around their money, and then you can obviously see it work. And our job is not done here, Bryce, in terms of some of the next product features. I mean, this is timely because of obviously what's happening around the economy and helping people get some confidence around their money in terms of how long it lasts. But the next one is all about wealth building. And, just linking back to our 300th episode of the podcast today, there was a quote from Jamin Fraser, who was a wonderful interview about mindset, and says, paying attention to the cost. So, and we were talking about smoking and so forth, that we don't necessarily pay attention to the cost. But when we are moving on mindset and we're also making judgment calls around how we use our money, we are going to be building some fabulous tools around understanding the cost consequences of those decisions you're making now into the future. So we have some amazing little bits of tech that are going to be coming as part of the My Wealth Portal family to be able to share with people to sort of give them an idea of what's possible.
Hey, Ben, George, I'll see if I not butcher it, Rivalis. Congratulations on the 300 episodes, guys. Such a great new tool. And this one is from Brian Hayes. What's the recommended cash buffer, Ben, as in time related? Is it 3 months? Understand it can depend on your comfort level, but what's the preference here, Ben?
So we say redlining is 6 months. So if you have a cash flow buffer that only lasts you 6 months, that's red zone for us. We would prefer to have that longer. Now, when we talk about red zone, remembering that we're talking about essential versus discretionary. If your essential spending is at 6 months, then that's the true red zone. Because if your current spending is sitting at 6 months, then really you could do a lot to cut back on some spending, and that will probably buy you 12 months, which is, again, enough about resetting your life and getting on top of your situation and hopefully, securing more gainful employment and getting that income flowing back in. So summary, if you're at 6 months in terms of current spending, then that's not red zone. Red zone is 6 months on essential spending. So where you stripped out all your discretionary spending and you're just focusing in on your essential.
Hey, folks, if you could just let us know, there's quite a few of you here. So if you could just let us know what sort of impact that might have on you, we're happy to read it out, or how you think this might be able to help you. Eric has said, just want to say Bryce still looks the same as he did 300 episodes ago. Thank you. Although I've got a little bit more grey hair than when I first started working with Ben. Ben, not so much with the unshaven beard.
Yeah, that's ISO for you.
You got to listen to last week's episode for understanding why there's a beard, Ben. So, yeah, no, thank you, Eric, for that. But Brian's saying thanks. But, yeah, let us know. We'll answer a few more questions if you guys have got them. But, Ben, maybe you can bring it home with this showcasing.
Yeah, I think then the other thing you can also do with the interaction on the graph is you can hover over it, and so you can see month 13. So that's in months. You can see where the baseline was going to be. So, if you have been impacted by COVID, so by way of example, this couple pre-COVID, that was their full story. So we'll take that right back up to 100 and 100. And you can see there that we can really, the baseline is this line here in terms of where they were going. It's also another excellent tool to sort of say, if we could cut back on our discretionary spending in, say, example, month 16, our baseline would actually be $53,000 in the bank account as opposed to $37,000 in the bank account. So if you reverse that around, that's basically what it's telling us there. So again, if we see an impact on one household income, we get that separation and we can start to see effectively where baseline is being impacted as part of that story. So it's just a really easy to use tool that can give you that instant answers, and you can, as I said to you, you can hover over it and you can basically see where you'll be in 12 months' time. Go to the 12th month and it summarises it, all of those nice and beautifully there, where you can say, okay, well, that's an incentive. We could have, if we just cut back on our spending, we would have 34,000 in the bank account as opposed to where we were going to be, which is 29. But if our current spending was going to be impacted, then it's down at 23 if we continue to keep spending at the current levels.
Very good, Ben. Now, folks, if you're wondering what Ben does in between each week on Thursday at 3 o'clock delivering a podcast, this is what he loves to do. He loves to play around with this, with all the developers, getting it so that we can provide you with another tool to make you transform go from Pain Island, Ben, to Pleasure Island when it comes to your money. So this, is a credit to you, mate. It's your brainchild, but the fact that people can go and use this very, very simply, I'm excited for our community to be able to get access to this. And so what I want to do is, if you're not using this at this point, I would encourage you to do that. And it's very simple. All you need to do is go to makemoneysimpleagain.com.au, Ben. You can download a copy of our book for free. And then throughout that download process, we'll show you how to actually get yourself an
automatically sets you up an account, Bryce. So you'll get an email from us with your username and temporary password, and there's a step-by-step process as part of that. So it's on the screen now, Ben. Great. If you're not a user of the My Wealth portal in the past, well, obviously the Money Smarts book is really the Make Money Simple Again is the instruction manual for that. So that's how you'll be able to get there, Bryce. So keep going. Yeah, so that's number one. So if you don't have access to it, Ben, you want to know how to get access to it, that's what you do, makemoneysimpleagain.com.au. If you do already have a portal access, Ben, I'd encourage you to go and revisit it. Go back to it, get the data as accurate as you can so that you can actually play around with this. And number three, Ben, a request from us is if it's adding value to you, can you tell someone else about it? Can you tell them to circle back to step one and go and download the free book because you can stay anonymous, you get access to the book for free. These tools, which cost thousands of dollars for us to put together, a lot of money,
is available for you to use for free. So I just want to encourage that. Hey, Ben, there's a couple of other comments here. But Brian has said thanks. George Rivalis said, perfect pronunciation, Bryce. Thank you, George. The podcast and portal have inspired me and have guided me on a better path before buying my first property, hopefully by the end of the year. This helps me when being able to determine possible outcomes, especially in these uncertain times. So that's good, Ben. Lou Pilkington, Lou Pilkington, who we know well. This is awesome, guys. Can't wait to have a play with it. Dennis Omadeo, a good friend of ours at the couch. MoneySTRETCH is great. Love it. And I'll just quickly check. Matthew Quinnell, doing some scenario modelling with this new tool will allow us to be better prepared in case the worst happens. It has the potential to, here we go, Ben, this will make your day. It has the potential to reduce some of the anxiety many people are experiencing at a time like this. Nice work.
Beautiful.
I'll quickly riff through it, Ben. Sorry, I know you were going to say that was good. Thanks, guys. You are changing our family's outlook for the future. Could not thank you both and your team more. That's Michael St. Clair. And there we go. So there you go, beautiful. Ben, making a difference. So, folks, we want this to make a difference to you. It is first released. It went out today as part of the podcast. In fact, you're probably the first people that are finding out about it, unless we've got some very, very keen folk, Ben, who have gone through the podcast.
Quickly.
It was released 41 minutes ago, and the episode goes longer than 41 minutes, so they might have been at 2-speed. But this particular release is really the first time anyone is seeing it. So we want to make sure that people get access to it.
And can I give some people a tip, because it's so new. We've been testing it. So we think it's pretty good. But if you do have a situation where your numbers start to get misaligned when you're opening up the sand pit, jump into MoneyFit, which is one of the other areas, and just let that play itself out, and then jump back into MoneySTRETCH. Now, that's just something that if the numbers are juggling around a little bit there, that'll reset it. But we're working very, very hard behind the scenes to make sure that little glitch that we only saw a few moments ago before we went live, we'll have that fixed in a matter of 24 hours.
There you go. So, Ben, I'm just going to quickly check to make sure that we've squared off everyone here with their questions and their queries. Sushan has said, you guys are awesome. Thank you, Sushan. We think you're awesome too. So, Ben, we every week we deliver a podcast. This week is no different. It's our 300th. I want to encourage everyone who's listening to this to make sure that they listen to it. See that timing? I knew you were coming. Make sure you listen to it. We've got a very special guest. It will transform the way you're thinking right now through a pandemic. So, number one. Number two, go to, hopefully Stiggy will have it up on the screen shortly, makemoneysimpleagain.com.au, so you can go and check out that. And three, go and play with what you've just showcased, Ben, which is amazing. I've been playing with it. You've been definitely playing with it. And Ibis, what are you asking me to do there? I know that you're not going to talk, but I'm going to have sign language here. Yeah, and leave comments. Yes, leave comments and let us know how you're going. Ibis, I can't lip read, I'm afraid. Nana's gone, thank you so much for educating us. That's no problem. So, Ben, I'm going to sign off unless you've got something else to say. Just get Stiggy ready with the button. But each and every week, Ben, we encourage you to go to and listen to us at 3 p.m. Check all this stuff out. Why don't you go to thepropertycouch.com.au.